bnptv.
We're in Blackpool today with Karen Downs, the mother of Charlene Downs. For those of you who don't know who Charlene is, she was believed to be murdered a few years back. Just have a look on one of our other videos to find out the details of that, which are particularly gory, and I don't really want to go into them right now, but you need to. You need to have a look at the case and find out how horrific it is, and then you'll perhaps understand what we're going to be talking about today. Now, Charlene was alleged to have been murdered by two people, two Asian men, Muslim men, here in Blackpool, in their takeaway store. The police had 52 tape recordings. They first of all bugged their houses, they bugged their cars, and they bugged their premises. And they got 52 separate tape recordings of these people discussing how they'd killed Charlene. They then took him to court, and surprise, surprise, the Crown Prosecution Service, which is headed up by a Muslim, incidentally, they made a mess of the case. And these two men, Raveshi and Albatiki, got off on a technicality. Now, they were also given £500,000 compensation for damages. Now, since then, that was 2007. Here we are, 2007. Here we are nearly 5 years later, and the police have not bothered looking for anybody else. So what does that tell you? It tells me that they still believe that these two men killed Charlene, because they're not bothering to look for anybody else. So they're convinced of it. Now, there's new evidence, so they should be looking to take them back to court and retry them under the double jeopardy new rules. Now, they haven't done that, but recently, Robert Downs, Charlene's 20-year-old brother, saw Mohammed Raveshi as he was out shopping. As Robert was out shopping, he dropped his shopping and punched Raveshi and flattened him. So he hit him once. The fellow went down on the floor and Rob walked away. An hour later, the police turn up at Robert's house and arrest him for assault. He pleaded guilty straight off. There's no point in him lying about something like that. And who out there would not want to do something like that? If they saw the person who the police believe murdered his sister, and he's just walking the streets, driving around in a posh car because they're absolutely loaded, they've got $250,000 each for killing his sister. So it's understandable he would get angry. So he punched him. Didn't do anything beyond that. The police turn up, like I say, an hour later and arrest Robert. Now, Robert went to court, he pleaded guilty, and on the day of the trial, when it was all over, Robert and his mate Andy went out for a drink around Blackpool. They tried to get in a club called Mark Kelly's, or a pub I should say, and as they were trying to get in there, one of the bouncers on the door recognised Robert and punched him. Now, he recognised Robert because this same bouncer used to work for those two Asians that I mentioned before at their Funny Boys takeaway. He's not Asian, incidentally, he's a white man. But he punched Robert, and then Andy tried to stop the thing getting any worse, and he punched Andy as well. And it appears as though he must have had something sharp within his knuckles, because as he's punched both of them, he's sliced their faces. So it wasn't just a normal punch. They left the club, they were pushed out the door, and they walked away, and he came home, covered in blood. Both of them were covered in blood. And the mother said, well, I'm going to call the police. Before she called the police, she put it on Facebook. She put an announcement on Facebook to say their son had been, and his friend had been attacked at Mark Kelly's, and within half an hour of putting it on Facebook, the police were knocking on the door. They hadn't even got around to reporting the incident to the police, and the police were here. So, saves them ringing them, I guess. They come in, and then one of the police officers starts to abuse Karen and tells her to shut up, otherwise you'll get arrested. This is in her own home, and told her to leave the room in her home. This is Blackpool police. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. These are the same people who completely uselessly tried to prosecute 2 murderers for the murder of Karen's daughter. So in a moment we're going to be speaking to Karen and find out just what happened about this assault on Robert that the police don't want to do anything about. I didn't mention that, did I? The police don't want to do anything about this. They said, well, it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But they never said that when Robert punched Raveshi, they came and arrested him an hour later. That was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, accordingly. So why haven't they done anything about this? 2 of them assaulted, blood streaming from their faces, and the police flatly refused to do anything. So the BNP are not happy about this, and we've come to speak to Karen and find out what she thinks should happen. So Karen, would you like to just tell us what happened on the day that Robert got assaulted?
The day? The evening. When he came back here. Yes, he came back here with his mate covered in blood. It frightened me to death, like he'd been slashed all down his face and his teeth. He was complaining about his teeth with Andrew. I said, oh my God, what's happened to you? He said, Mum, get it on Facebook, I've been assaulted. And he was all out of breath and it'd be like he'd been running. So what's the matter with your son? Let me phone the police. No, Mum, leave it for now, just get it on Facebook. So I put it on, I took his picture, we put the picture on Facebook. Within half an hour, I hadn't even reported it to the police then. The police were at my door. They're obviously looking into my Facebook account. So I said to them, and I brought them in and I explained to them what had happened. They knew anyway, that somehow, because I'd told them it. What's this we've been hearing about? I said, look, my son's been assaulted and his friend. I said, what's happening about this bloody doorman? I said, I want something done. Look at him. He went, shut up you and get in the house. I went, you what? Get in the other room. I said, I will not shut up. He said, I'll arrest you in a minute. I said, well, you'll end up arresting me. I said, how dare you say that? I said, I will not be quiet. I said, I want something doing. I said, look at the state of him.
This is in your own house.
This was in here. Yeah. Some cocky copper, I can't remember it, some cocky police officer. I wasn't very happy. And there was a police officer lady as well. She said to me, you want to calm down? I said, calm down. I said, what would you do if you did that to your son? I said, we're quick enough round here when he assaulted somebody. I said, but now look at this. I said, and he said, you've not reported it to us. I said, well, I was going to, but I'd put it on Facebook first, and that's how they'd found out. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, I want something doing. And he said, well, it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other. I went, you what? What do you mean it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other? I said, well, you could say that in any case, couldn't you? So anyway, Robert said, Mum, I'll go round Andy's. I'm going round to see Andy. So he went round to Andy's to wash his face and everything. And then he come back. And the police escorted him from here to Andy's to make sure. And they said, we don't want you going back to Mark Kelly's. Robert said, I'm not going anywhere tonight for the end plate. Yeah.
So it wasn't for his protection?
No, they were more interested that they were going back there to have a go at that bouncer. Rob says, I'm not going anywhere tonight. I just want to go to bed. I want to clean my face up, take some painkillers and go to bed, which is exactly what he did when he came back from Andy's.
Did they look at Andy's face when they were there?
Yeah, they looked at Andy's face. They saw Andy's face was bad as well. But Andy said, well, there's no point in the police. The police are a waste of time, and the police don't like us anyway. Because obviously with Charlene and, they don't like my family anyway. That's the impression.
Let's just clarify that point.
Yes.
They don't like you because they're embarrassed that they know your daughter was murdered and they've done very little,
if anything,
to bring justice to the situation.
Exactly.
They still believe that Raveshi and Albertiki are the murderers because they're not looking for anybody else.
They've never looked for anyone else.
And they're embarrassed about that.
Of course they are.
It might be their bosses saying we're not going to be looking elsewhere.
Exactly.
But they know very well who's done it.
They know who's done it, but it's just that they need to get more evidence. That's all it is. They know exactly who it is.
But there is more evidence there already, isn't there, which they could use if they wanted to.
If they really wanted to, yes, there is. There is absolutely useless, the Blackpool police. I'm sorry, but they are.
I've had experience of them. I think you're absolutely right. I've only met one policeman.
And the way they treated you last year was disgusting.
And he was fine, but the others have been appalling.
They are. They're absolutely awful.
And also the CPS made a mess of that case over Charlene.
They did.
And the head of the CPS is a Muslim.
Well, that speaks for itself. Say no more.
It makes you question it, doesn't it? At the very least. So there's several questions there.
What I would like to, of course.
Coming back to the evening when Robert had been assaulted and his friend Andy. Yeah. The cops followed Robert round to Andy's house.
Yes, they did.
Just to make sure he wouldn't go to the club.
Yeah, that's right. They escorted him more or less. Took him.
He stayed. Did he stay there, or did he come back?
He came back after the police went and came back in here and washed his face. Like, I just bathed him and everything. I gave him some tablets and sent him to bed. And the next day I made a dentist appointment for him. But the next day the police were out again to see me.
The CID this time.
Uniform officers came out.
Okay.
Wanted to know. They said I hadn't caught. I said, well, I was. They said all what we understand about. They heard that there was going. They were frightened of there was going to be some retaliation from the EDL and from yourself because of and were frightened they were going. Oh, he said, I understand there's going to be a protest. I said, who told you that? He said, we hear the BNP rolled. Are they having a protest tonight? I said, no, they're not having a protest tonight. Oh, well, we hear there's going to be retaliation as well from the EDL about Robert and Andy. I said, well, it will be if you don't do something. I said, I want something done. Oh, well, we're going to get CID onto it. We're going to get CID onto it. That afternoon, CID come out. Spoke to Robert, spoke to Andy. I don't know what they said, but they spoke to him. Took the details. And then I never heard any more. So I thought, so I'll give it a couple of days. I thought, right, I'm going to ring them up. I've rung them up. They said, oh, it's resolved as far as we're concerned. I said, resolved? What do you mean resolved? Is this man been arrested? Oh, no, we can't do any more because the CCTV. I said, what do you mean CCTV? Oh, we saw your son walking away. I said, hang on a minute. I said, what about the bit before he walked away? Nothing to show. There's nothing of the bit where he assaulted Robert, but the part where Robert walks away. But it's obvious that bit's been wiped or that bit's been tampered with, because it would be there for everybody to see.
Okay, so the police at this stage, the CID are saying they can't do anything about it because they've got no CCTV.
They're not prepared to investigate it any further. It's resolved.
A question.
Yeah.
How did the police do their work before CCTV cameras were
Exactly.
invented?
How did they? Yeah, because they're a new thing, this CCTV. I'm not about it.
They're picking and choosing which cases they want to prosecute and which ones they don't want to prosecute.
And obviously they're not very keen on our family, and as I say, Robert anyway.
They don't want to draw attention to the fact that they haven't done their job
properly, of course.
So they won't want to do anything over that. So the bottom line here is that they've prosecuted your son, arrested him within an hour of the incident.
Yeah, well, no.
They came along here the same day, saw the state of
they saw the state of his face.
And Andy's
it's awful.
face, and they still refuse to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And they're making the excuse that there's no CCTV.
See, that to me is an
footage.
excuse,
That is
an excuse, it is.
That's up to the other side's defence to argue that in court.
Yeah, of course,
In the meantime, they should be prosecuted.
Absolutely.
Because they've got each of them, Rob and Andy, as a witness.
Of course, and I've got a description of the barman, of the doorman, anyway. He's about 5'7", 8 in height, quite a stocky built guy with short cropped hair. And he used to work on Mr. Funny Boys and Mr. Beans. He used to be a bouncer there because my son knows him. And it's like he's took a dislike to my son anyway. He doesn't like Robert.
And do you think that's why you punched Robert?
Pretty certain, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Robert says he doesn't like him. He doesn't like me when he remembers me. He knows who I am. He knows I'm Charlene's brother. He's horrible to me. You know what I mean? He's not, and that's the reason I believe he hit Robert. Nothing to do with the fact that he was wearing jeans or he was a little bit leery. The fact that he doesn't like him. That's the fact. That's the top and bottom of it. Okay. And this guy should be prosecuted. I still believe this guy should be prosecuted. He should not be allowed to get away with it. He could do it to someone else.
Yeah. He should be prosecuted.
Yeah, he should.
You should be demanding a copy of that CCTV footage.
Which I want to go. I think I'm going to be. Yeah.
And
they won't show me the bit. They'll only show me the bit they want to show me anyway on it, won't they? If I demand a copy.
Well, if you get a copy of it, you can have it analysed to see whether it's been
could do. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes.
You need to get a copy of that. Just
I don't know. Yeah.
So you've now taken it further with the police as of last Monday, when you went down to the police station and asked them what they're doing about it.
Yeah.
And they said they're still not prepared to do anything.
No, not to do anything. I told them I was going to get my MEP involved and I'm going to the papers. And they said, well, that's up to you, but we can't do any more. Really, that was it. That was, well, you ain't heard the end of this. I said, I'm telling you, you've not heard the end of this. And I walked out. I did. I told them straight. I said, I'm not settling for this. I want something done about that bloke. This guy, I said, he could do this to somebody. Well, he could do it to some, even not just my Robert. He could get onto another lad.
He could be doing it every night of the week.
Yeah, he could.
If he knows the cops are not going to
do anything, and he's going to get away with this.
He's just going to behave in any way he
inappropriately
wants.
Again, isn't he? And perhaps hit some other some other lad, anybody.
So why do you think it doesn't work both ways? If Robert gets arrested after an hour, and this other fella, was it two or 3 weeks now? 2 weeks?
It's
and
been
he still hasn't been arrested?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been about 28th. It's been just over a week and a half, hasn't it? Roughly, I think.
Why have the Blackpool police got such double standards then?
That's the way the Blackpool police are. They're really awful. They're only interested in arresting drunken people. They're not interested in that. And them doormen cover their own backsides anyway. And they're all in, as far as I'm concerned, they'll all be in the same pot. That's my opinion of them. I have no faith in the Blackpool police anyway. And they don't like our family.
Can I ask you about something else? You don't need to mention any names on this.
No, it's fine.
But
it's absolutely fine.
somebody has made threats
Yes.
towards you on Facebook.
That's right.
Now you've got the evidence of that.
Yeah, I've got it on my Facebook account, on my son's Facebook account, and on my phone.
Yeah,
yes.
But you're going to use in evidence against this individual.
Yeah, I am. Yes.
And this man also said that you won't get anything done by the police because his brother-in-law is a policeman.
His brother's a police officer in Manchester.
His brother's a police officer.
Yes, and he's obviously feeding him information and obviously doing things. Yeah, and that's horrible
and
as well.
We don't need to mention any names.
Oh no, but he'll know
he's
who I'm
suggesting.
He's suggesting this,
that he's got influence over the police.
Yes, he is. And
which
he
is
knows.
a pretty strong claim from this individual.
Yes, yeah.
And let's hope he's put some of that in writing as well.
Yeah.
Because he's already
said slanderous things about us as well.
Writing.
Slanderous as well.
Yeah.
Very slanderous. Some awful things about myself, my husband, my son. You know, the family. Horrible things. Really.
And libelous. If he's put it in writing, it's libel.
Yeah.
So that's a civil action, incidentally. It's not a criminal action.
No, I understand. It's harassment, though,
really
isn't it?
Doesn't matter. The criminal aspect is the fact that he's threatened you.
Yeah.
And you've got it in writing that
and
he's
if
threatened you.
they were going to hold a protest for some girl, they were going to have a demo at the 31st of March. And if we turned up, he was going to physically, with his doorman, threatened us with violence, that he was going to move us away. If we turn up, he sees any of our family there, we're going to get dragged away in the open air from the site, from the demo site. He's also threatened us with that as well. It's disgusting.
Has he put that in writing?
No, he threatened us verbally. Oh no, I think he actually put that on Facebook. You hadn't better turn up or out. And he got one of his friends to say that as well. Called a Casuals United member has also told us the same in so many words. So we won't be going anywhere near them. For that reason. I don't like violence. I don't condone violence. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't have to be subject to that. We've done nothing wrong to him. It's just because.
Well, you're trusting the police to do their job.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You know,
and if they can't protect us, then
but you know, you've got to keep at them.
I know.
You've got to keep on knocking on their door and saying, why can't I have justice? Yeah. If those people can have justice,
why can't I? Of course, I'll never give up anyway for justice for her. Never.
Well, I know how you feel about Charlene. Don't allow them to get away with anything.
They won't. No, I won't.
You know.
Of course.
The police are prepared to arrest Rob, then they should be prepared to arrest other people.
Of course. Of course they should.
And hopefully this interview will bring it to more to the forefront. And
of course it will.
Bring out the information and and maybe we'll get something done.
Let's hope so.
We're not going to hold our breath because I've got no faith in any police these days, to be frank with you. We live in a police state and the police are politicised. They shouldn't be.
No.
You know, they take an oath to serve and protect the people.
Of course. Yeah.
Not club owners.
No.
And not politicians.
No.
And not
certainly not
kebab house owners.
Murderers either.
And murderers. But, you know, it seems that they pick and choose what cases they're going to fight.
It does seem that way. They're only fit for arresting drunks in Blackpool anyway, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, can I just
certainly
lighten it a little bit if I may?
Of course.
I mean, that might be the wrong word to use, to be honest with you, but I'm talking about in a couple of weeks' time on the 25th of February. March as well. 25th of March, we're going to be having a service for Charlene's 23rd birthday here in Blackpool.
Absolutely.
Now, what we'd like to do is get quite a nice crowd.
Of course. Oh, that would be lovely.
If we get a huge crowd, all the better.
I've got quite a few people who would love to come to that.
A nice, polite crowd there that
would be lovely.
Be very respectful towards the service and what we're doing it for. And as you know, we're going to be bringing a proper vicar.
Of course.
To perform the service. And then we'll be leaving a plaque and having it mounted somewhere for Charlene.
That would be really very beautiful.
Yeah, it'll be a nice day.
That will be. I'll bring some flowers for her. And let's hope it's a sunny day and please God.
Yeah, but
So,
bring your brollies just in case.
Okay,
it's
so I
not,
better
because,
bring my
you know,
brolly,
we're,
yeah.
We're going to be doing it
Of course.
outdoors more
Yeah.
than likely.
of course, yeah. Okay, and I'll certainly look forward to that.
And we'll aim for that service to be at
Yeah.
around about 12 noon. On
12
the-
noon.
on the
Okay, then. It's
25th.
just the location we
Yeah.
need to sort out now, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really?
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, Karen.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.